Murray, you know today's Sunday, man. All right, y'all. Y'all already know it's that time. Playoff time is here. And here we are with the matchups. You got Ravens and Dolphins. 2 seed going against 7 seed. Dolphins travel into Baltimore. Then you got the Jets 6 seed. They are traveling. I ain't doing all that. I ain't. That's too much. That's too much to do. Now, what you can do is what I will do is, if you want to gamble, I will allow y'all to gamble on this with your players. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this thing called um we're gonna do this thing called, can I do it this round? Nah, I'd rather wait to the regular season because to figure out exactly how I'm gonna do it. But yeah, I'm gonna bring the gambling back aspect back to this come next season. I don't want to start it in the playoffs. You know, but yeah, here we go. We got Dolphins traveling to Baltimore. We got New York traveling to Buffalo. They over there traveling to that Bills Mafia. Weather's gonna be crazy out there. And then you got Texans and Steelers. Pittsburgh traveling to H Town. And the Raiders sit patiently as the number 1 seed. In the NFC, you got the Eagles number 1 seed. They're on the bye week. You have Bucks at number 2 seed who just played the Panthers and won in rather easy fashion. They played the 7th seed. Carolina is traveling to Tampa. We'll see what happened in this rematch in that one. Seahawks, number 3 seed, going against the Bears, the number 6 seed. Chicago traveling to Seattle into that 12th man. Home field advantage that Seattle's known for having. Seattle bringing a 12-game win streak on the line. The Packers, number 4 seed, hosting a playoff matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys is going into Lambeau. We have some exciting first round matchups across the board. Playoffs are here. No more time for trying to learn new plays. Whatever you got, you got it. It's time to bring what you got. That's it. It's time to bring what you got. Ain't no more figuring out. Ain't no more trying out stuff. Tryouts is over. This is it. This is the elimination. This is the elimination chamber. Matter of fact, hold on 1 second, y'all. You can't come to the playoffs without the proper welcoming. It's only right. Y'all know that theme music. That's the theme music. Cause it's a jungle. Everybody wants to get out. But the fact of the matter is, everyone is not getting out. 2 teams enter, 1 team survives. The only question you come into these games are, which team will survive? That's why we watch the games. That's why we play the games. But the jungle is here, baby. It's that time. Whether you got major injuries, whether you have no injuries, it doesn't matter. Nobody is taking it easy. Everybody's trying to take care of their business. So we're going to see how this thing shake out. But I will promise you, What is guaranteed in every playoffs is an upset. There's always an upset. All the teams that you say is the favorite, all the teams that you say will win, well, guess what? They don't win. See, in the playoffs, anything can knock you off rhythm. A fumble, a pick, a roughing the passer, a pass interference. Anything can change the game around. Opening game, kickoff return, you could fumble. Your opponent could pick it up and score. You automatically down 7-0. And for some, that will knock them off their game plan, because right away, even though you still have 4 quarters to play, you can have the tendency to feel like I'm now in catch-up mode, just because that one little incident happened. But let's see how this thing play out. So in the first matchup, we got Dolphins and Ravens. Dolphins the 7th seed. Oh, they got them Texans over there. Let's go Texans. Let's go H-Town. They got the Texans over there, and they say, yo, I'm picking the Texans over them Steelers over that steel curtain. We going with the Texans. That's right, baby. We going with the Texans. But Dolphins and Ravens, listen, I know the Ravens had one heck of a season. You know, I know Dolphins been up and down, but they got in. Records don't matter. But what I do know also is that when the playoffs come, it can also start to feel like you know, a little more pressure bound, you know? See, you say the goal is to get in the playoffs, and it is. But what you're in the playoffs, it feels a little bit more different than week 8, then week 4, then week 10. It feels a little different. You know why? Because you know if you lose, the season is a wrap. There is no next week. See, I've said this before, and you're right, G. Pressure do bust pipes. But you know what else pressure does? Pressure produces diamonds. There's 2 ways to look at it. Pressure can bust pipes. Pressure can make diamonds. Either way, that pressure is going to do something to you. But again, everybody said they wants to get in the playoffs, and they do. But the feeling is different. Palms get sweaty. You can start to overthink. You can start to get in your own way, in your mind. You can start to doubt yourself. Why? Because there is no next week. See, the difference between the playoffs and regular season, if you got sent home in Heartbreak Hotel in the regular season, or if you just lost a tough game, or even if you got beat like a drum, you can always come back next week and make things right. Just like that, snap of a finger. In the playoffs, there ain't no next week. You now have to wait till next season. And let's be honest, we know there are a lot of people on this when it comes to Madden that get caught up in Madden feelings. And depending on what happened, certain losses can wear and tear on them for a long time. So that's what makes the playoffs interesting. And believe it or not, all your top guys is not built for pressure. But the only way to find out is to get on the field. So Ravens and Dolphins, I'm going Ravens in this one. I think they're a little more seasoned than the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins Even though they started slipping towards the end, they still held on to make the playoffs. But now they enter Baltimore, and I just don't see Baltimore going out right now against Miami. Now again, Miami do have oh wow, I gotta check my guys then. I don't know. I think this might be a little more than what Miami bargained for. Therefore, I'm going with B more. I'm gonna say 47 to 30. We're gonna go back and forth. In the NFC, you got the Bucks and the Panthers. Just in case that's too loud and that's drowning me out. Bucks and Panthers. Listen, I've said Big Game James is one of them teams that you look at and you say, man, that's a tough 7th seed right there. I put a lot of respect on Big Game James' name. Why? Because I seen where he came from and how fast he's progressed. Big Game James, not Big Game James, I'm sorry, Carolina Blue Mo. Carolina Blue Mo is a problem. Now, I will say this too. This is a tough first round matchup for this Panther team because the Bucks have been on one all season. Like, I'm talking about rolling through the competition. I mean, the Panthers and Bucks just played, and the Bucks, I believe, won by 3 or more scores. So, in my opinion, this is a tough matchup. But what I will say, though, the fact that this is the 3rd time they are playing this season, that's in the Panthers' favor. Because exactly, which is what I was just about to say. Because now that they're playing for the 3rd time, if you are somebody who I hold in a certain category, like I do the Panthers, you pay attention to things and you learn different things. I think the Panthers will not let the Bucks win the way he just did in the final week of the season. But I'm still picking the Bucks to win. But I think it's going to be a little closer than what many would think. Give me Bucks over the Panthers, because how can I not take the Bucks? I mean, he's done nothing to show me that I should be picking against him right now. You know, he's been hot and he's been crushing the competition all season. So I gotta go with the Bucks. Give me Bucks over the Panthers. 34. Panthers 26. 34-26. Bucks over the Panthers. Back in the AFC, we got Bills and Jets. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Jets beat Buffalo. Don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. I think the Jets beat Buffalo early in the year when they played. But I'm going to also say, since that early part of the year, Buffalo has been one of the best teams in the league. Right, they beat Buffalo 2nd game of the season. But since the earlier part of that part, I think Buffalo has been one of the better teams in the league. Not just the AFC, the whole entire league. Listen, I played the Bills. I was up 24-7 in the first quarter. Yeah, things happened that we dropped passes and stuff like that. Yeah, we can look at all of that, but we was up. It had no business coming down to that. Bottom line is we still didn't get the stops that we needed to not let him take the lead. So regardless to what, but see, that's just how I own it. That's just how I own stuff. Some people get on here and say, "Oh man, you lucky. We dropped mad passes." Yo, guess what? How about you not put yourself in a position to be able to say it came down to that? Because the fact of the matter is, if I'm up 24-7 and them same passes I dropped and I'm up, them drop passes don't even matter. So you can't even go now look at the drop passes and then try to use that as an excuse to why we lost. No, that man stayed poised, you know, and he stayed calm, and he came back and he got the win. That was a great win. Then he came back the following week right after that and beat Pittsburgh in a rainstorm in Pittsburgh. Buffalo got some nice wins under his belt. I put a lot of respect on Buffalo name. Many of y'all wouldn't realize it because he don't get in the chat and he don't really say too much. But Buffalo is a problem, and this Jets team got to now travel into Bills Mafia, where not only is it going to be cold, but it's probably going to be a snowstorm over there like Lambeau. Buffalo and Green Bay, when I think of those two teams, when it comes to playoffs, I think of cold and snow. Snow and cold. That's what I think of. Now, luckily for the Jets, though, that's not really too much of a disadvantage because it snows in New York as well. But the fact that the Jets is going into hostile environments, I don't know. I don't know if the Jets will pull this off. Now, E-Ball is a vet, right? He's been in the playoffs, you know, many times over these past Maddens. He knows what it takes. But I like Buffalo in this one. But I gotta say though, the fact that the Jets can run that ball, Breece Hall is the #1 running back in the AFC. The Jets will run that ball. You know, he have no problem giving Breece his touches. So now, in my opinion, can this Jets defense slow down Buffalo's air attack? And can Buffalo defense slow down Jets rushing attack? Now, if it is snowing, that does plays in the Jets' hand a little more because it's easier to run in bad weather conditions than it is to pass. But listen, Buffalo, they're the 3 seed for a reason. They're at home. They fought all year to be able to host a playoff matchup. I'm taking Buffalo on this one, but I got to put some respect on the Jets' name as well, just because he's able to run that ball. If you're able to run that ball, that makes you a dangerous threat. But I'm going Buffalo on this one. And again, I don't think it's going to be a lot of crazy high-scoring games. I don't think you're going to see 70 to 55. I don't think you're going to really see too many of that at all. I'm going Buffalo on this one. 24-14. No, 24-17. Bills over the Jets. Seahawks and Bears. Seahawks coming to this game with a 12-game win streak on the line. Bears, #6 seed, on the road, traveling to the 12th man. Hostile environments. Listen, in my opinion, the Bears have nothing to lose in this one. He's coming to this game as a heavy underdog. Barely made the playoffs. Seahawks in the 12-game win streak. But here's what I know. When you come into these type of matchups, you play like that. And that's what makes you dangerous. The Bears is a team, in my opinion, on any given day can beat anybody. That's right, anybody. Because Addison is a baller. Let's not forget, he was with us in what is this, Madden 26? He was with us on Madden 24. And he was over there in the AFC West. I believe he either had the Chargers or the I think he had the Chargers. And he was putting in work, made a Super Bowl and everything, if I'm not mistaken. So Addison, he's somebody that you don't want to take lightly, regardless of how up and down he was in the season. Remember, when the playoffs is here, forget about regular season records. None of that matters anymore. It don't matter. We all 0-0. You only get to the next round if you 1-0. Regular season record does not play a part in this. Seahawks been balling. They've been hot. A lot of these games they've been winning has been blowouts. They've had some close ones, but a lot of them has been blowouts. They got a lot of guys in the top 10 in defense over there in the NFC. As you can see, when we went over these yearly awards and everything. So Seahawks is not coming to this game missing a beat. They coming to this game with all the momentum. Everybody morale is through the roof. This is going to be a tough one for the Bears to pull out. I'm going Seahawks, but again, I got to put some respect on the Bears' name. Give me Seahawks 31, Bears 24. We now go back to the AFC, and we have the Texans hosting the playoff game against the Steelers. Listen, Texans defense the last 2 games have only gave up 20-something points. The last 2 games, defense have been playing good, have been playing great, and let's not kid ourselves. We gonna need the defense to step up against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the final game of the season was the number. They dropped out of the number 2 slot, and they now became the 5th slot. This one is going to be a good one. Texans is home. Steelers on the road. There will be no weather conditions because we are in the dome. So, if I'm not mistaken, I believe both teams are healthy. I know I'm healthy. And I don't think the Steelers have no major injuries. So this is going to be a good one. I don't predict my games. I just say who I believe the favorite is. I'm going to say Texans favored by 3 in this one because they are at home. If the Steelers was at home, honestly, I would have said Steelers favored by 3. Listen, I'm coming to this game knowing, listen, we can't afford to make no mistakes. This is playoff football. We know what we got to do to move on, and we just gonna have to get it done. Bottom line. But we got the crowd behind us. We got the city behind us. Houston, we have a problem. Texans favored by 3 over the Steelers. We know what the Steelers is bringing to the table. The question is, do the Steelers know what the Texans bring to the table? We're gonna be ready. Only thing left to do after that is see how the chips fall. Packers and Cowboys. This game could go either way, in my opinion. But what the Cowboys must do, they're gonna have to come and play defense. This Packer team, they can score points, and they can score points in bunches. Granted, we know the Cowboys can score. We get that. But the Packers defense, in my opinion, has been better than the Cowboys defense throughout this season. Packers at home, they are hosting a playoff game. Dallas is traveling to Lambeau. Just like I said about Buffalo, I expect it to be cold and snow. How does Dallas play in the snow? We're going to have to figure out. I don't know if it's going to snow. I'm just telling you, when this is time of the year, this just was come to mind. I've said this Packer team has a great shot to come out and go all the way to the bowl. The funny thing is, I kind of feel the same way about the Cowboys. But the Cowboys, they've been, and this is this is not me. They've been so down in their defense that I don't even know if they even believe that they can get to the Super Bowl, because I don't think he's, after the first season, when he felt like, oh, it's Monday night, 8:15, oh yeah, I think it's going to snow too. I just think that after the first season, when the Cowboys get some more pieces, I guess he'll feel more comfortable with his defense. But because I'm not sold that he's confident in his own defense, that he's gonna really take this team to go far. I know he's confident in his offense, but I just think Packers are a little more confident on both sides of the ball. And I just seen the Packers um, put the clips on Ravens offense. So I think the Packers coming to this game with more swag. I think the Packers coming to this game with more confidence. And the cherry on top is they are the home team. I like Packers to win this one. I'm gonna say 34. 24. 34-24. Packers over the Cowboys. And with that said, we now have predicted every game of the first round. Eagles, Raiders sit in the bye. They wait to see who their next opponent is. And as the 1 seed, yeah, it's cool to get the bye because there's less games you got to play. But sometimes it's also good to already be thrown in the fire and come to that next round with some momentum. I feel like sometimes having that bye week can work against you. But at the end of the day, I don't think nobody's not going to try to get the bye week. If you right there and you got a chance to get it, you go for it, right? Like, because the reality is you can play in the first round and lose, and it's less games you have to play. By you playing this first round, you could suffer an injury. You may win the game, but you lose your starting running back, best wide receiver, somebody, and now you go into the next round without that player. So anything can happen when you playing, injury wise. So it can go either way. You can win a big game, you can come into that next game with a ton of confidence, or you can also win the game and have a major injury. So it can go either way. But as the 1 seed, they wait patiently and see how this thing play out. But playoffs is here, y'all. See y'all next round.